Hello, I'm Vara,
And I'm Roxy.
and you're listening to VCR. Hello, Roxy, how are you doing?
What's up? I'm good.
Good, you look good. Look at you, looking all radiant and glowing and everything.
It's the ring light. No,
The ring light, thought you were just all kinds of excited for
ring
this
light.
first day of autumn. Bullshit,
You
bullshit.
know, it's the first day of fall, so I'm really happy. I'm
I
excited.
I know
My season.
we
Libra
don't
season, baby.
we don't really get to know what that is like the other parts of the nation because
Yeah, no, it's
it's
it's the
a
first day of fall and it's like 95 degrees.
yeah, 95 degrees with a heat index of 102. So
Yes.
just
It's
throwing
it's
that
still
out
very
there.
much summer here.
Just fucking throwing that out there.
It gets so hot. I asked our maintenance guy, I was like, "Are you sure the pool's closed? Because it's really hot. It would be nice to enjoy the pool in this hot weather."
Right? Just like take a dip.
I really feel like our pool should be 24, like just all year. It should just be all year,
You could be. It's Houston.
24/7.
It's Houston, so it totally could be. But speaking of could be and all this other fun stuff, me and Roxy did something fun this weekend, and we went to the movies. And I know we're behind the curve on where everyone else is at, but it doesn't matter because we're going to give you what we think, and that's what really matters.
And we're
So,
probably gonna ruin it for you anyway. So,
ruining. So
spoiler alerts.
we jumped into watching Beetlejuice,
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice, which is really, really awesome. I thought it was Roxy. I got it. I'm gonna just start right into it. We got there. Nice movie experience. We always end up in the fancy
We
areas.
do.
We always do. We get the free popcorn and the drinks, and so we're sitting there. Beetlejuice starts. What was your overall impression of the movie?
I actually really liked it.
Hmm.
I really enjoyed it a lot. Like, I love how they covered all the bases, doing some
Yes.
new stuff. Like, it was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think the only bad thing I had to say about it was the sandworm.
Yeah, yeah, no, this is true. This is very true. I know this was the kind of the big one for you was the sandworm and
I was like,
everything.
the sandworm looked better in the old version, like in
Yeah,
the
it
original.
did.
Like
It really
this one really looks animated.
yeah, this one looked like they were using the animation from I was like, it's supposed to be kind of a
I expected
it's
it to
just
be a little bit more realistic looking.
mm-hmm.
I mean, with things they can do with CGI, I wasn't expecting that cartoon snake.
Yeah, yeah. So it was kind of that was a little funky, but the rest of it was great. It really
Yes.
was great. I think overall for me, Beetlejuice is a must see, especially if you're our age and you grew up with
Yes.
the 1988 Beetlejuice. And honestly, so I should have, but I didn't. I did not go back to watch the 1988 Beetlejuice. I just went into this cold and I loved it,
Yeah.
because the 2024 does not require you to see the 1988 in order to
No.
follow the plot. Now it's good to watch it because there are certain little things and gags that you will get
Hmm.
if you watch the 1988 version. That just makes other things better to understand. But it, I love the way they did it. One is independent of the other. You don't
Oh,
need it
yeah,
in
you
order to
don't.
jump
And they
into it.
do go back like on certain parts, they kind of give you a little history,
Yeah.
when they're talking about things. So you can kind of just pick up.
And it is kind of good because then you can understand the relationship between Lydia and the stepmom. And
Delia.
then you can understand the when they're referring back to the original ghost who lived there. So they're going to
Hmm.
make little references like that. But it was great. It was really great. It is a definitely go see for me type of situation. But
Hmm.
let's jump into some of the other fun stuff with this wonderful little movie. So pretty much all the original cast comes back with a few extras, right?
Hmm.
Uh, the only one who did not return is the actor who plays Charles Dietz, the who
Hmm.
is the dad, Lydia's dad. from the original one. And there's a very good reason why he's not in here. And
Yeah.
I'm going to lay that on you. So Charles Dietz was played by actually back in the day he was actually a very good and popular actor.
Oh yeah.
I can't take that away from him. He was the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He was the Reverend. If y'all remember Legend of Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp, he was the minister for the town. He's
Hmm.
done a lot of movies. The thing is, he did something really fucking
Like
bad, and I mean
really bad.
really fucking bad.
Really, really
So
bad.
he was caught with child porn, and so his acting career is pretty much over type of situation. But it's kind of interesting because so much of Beetlejuice 2 is revolving around him and his death. So what they do is they kill off the character in this, but the fact that he's dead makes him a very intricate part of the movie because
Oh
it's about
yeah.
the afterlife. So I was wondering how they were going to work around that, and honestly, they did.
They did a really
They
good
did
job.
really did a really good job. Now I'm
So
kind of
do you think they
curious.
used like AI for his voice?
I don't know. That could have really been his actual voice because, for all I know, he can't be in it because no one's going to want to work with him. But
Right.
the truth is, like, they did use his likeness. They used his portraits. They used all this other stuff that
Hmm.
represented him. I'm sure they had to give him some type of you know,
Something.
payment for that. And I'm kind of thinking that could have very well have been his voice, that they used. They may have
Yeah.
worked around it that way. But just kind of give you an idea of what this man has done. He, of course, Beetlejuice, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He was in Howard the Duck. I forgot about that.
I
He was,
forgot about that. I
yeah, he
loved
was.
Howard the Duck.
I don't know if did you ever see Amadeus?
I don't think so.
Okay, so he was in Amadeus and actually had a pretty good part in Amadeus. Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Stuart Little, The Pest, which was a terrible movie. Uh, oh, that's right. He was in Ravenous too. That was actually a really good movie. And anyway, so he's done a lot. I'm not going to give a whole lot more attention to him because, it was still bad.
Yeah. Very bad.
But he is a huge part of the storyline that happens here. And I have to say, the cast for Beetlejuice 2 was just a star-studded cast. It really was. Even the guest appearances in there were great. Um, Danny DeVito makes an appearance in there.
Yes.
He's just a small part in
Very
there,
small.
very tiny, no joke. The man got top billing. It's Danny DeVito. You see him, it's a small little part, and like I said, top billing on it. Like he was
Hmm.
just really, really great in it. Jenny Ortega.
She did such a good job, but I'm a huge fan of her,
Mhm.
so I'm a little biased.
Yeah, no, seriously, she's really great. Um, for those of you who are like, who's Jenny Ortega? Wednesday Adams. The
Hmm.
one who blew my mind, William Dafoe.
Oh, he did that so well.
He was so good. He's he's a he's a dead actor who apparently used to play a cop in real life, and now he's a cop in the afterlife, and it's
Yeah.
just so funny. It really is just great. The love of my life is in this movie. I will forever have a crush on this woman. I don't care what she looks like. And just watching her being dead just somehow made her more
She did look
sexier.
good. She really looked good.
Yeah. Miss Monica Bellucci. Oh, my heart sings every time I see her. So Monica Bellucci, and then of course you have Michael Keaton, Mr. Beetlejuice, and Winona Ryder as Lydia Dietz. And they all just did an amazing job. They just really, really did. Loved all of them in it. Now, let's jump into a little something interesting. I will say this. My favorite character was Bob.
I loved Bob.
Bob, poor Bob. All I'm gonna say, poor Bob, but
Poor
Bob
Bob.
was great. He was so magnificent in this. Uh, even though it's just a guy with a little head on top of him. It was hysterical. Bob was wonderful. But the whole thing, so let's get into a little ruining of the plot here. So Charles, the dad, has died. And Mummy Dearest has informed Lydia that, oh, your dad has passed away, blah, blah, blah. So Lydia returns to the house. Now, it's interesting what Lydia's profession is now. She's Ah, she's kind what would you call it?
A
I don't,
medium. She's become like a medium.
yeah, she's a medium. So like she's a medium with a television show. And it's called Ghost House.
Those, ooh.
Ooh. And what ends up happening is yeah, she gets this news, they return to the house, they pick up the daughter on the way who's super mad at her mom, Lydia, played by Jenny Ortega, because she misses her dad, basically. The dad passed away, accident in Brazil, dies. She's mad that she can't see her dad, but yet her mom's a medium, so all this other stuff. So there's a little red herring there. Um, they get to the house. This is where all the fun kind of ensues. They're getting ready for the funeral and all this. And then I guess you could say Beetlejuice starts popping up every now and then.
Yeah.
I mean, would that be right? Like he's kind of like just little
Yeah, like she
glimpses.
starts seeing him like certain
Hmm.
places.
Yeah. She
And she
starts kind
thinks
of
that
seeing,
she's going crazy.
yeah, she's saying she's going crazy and starts seeing Beetlejuice. And then uh it's very clear that Beetlejuice is hanging around. And
Hmm.
Beetlejuice himself has a problem. They make a reference to her in the first movie when he's trying to marry Lydia and he pulls out a finger and there's a ring on it and he's like, "This is my ex-wife. Don't worry about it. She means nothing to me." And then pulls the
Yeah.
ring off and puts it on her. And then the beauty about it is in this one, the ex-wife actually returns and is seeking Beetlejuice.
Hmm.
Because apparently she is a soul sucker. Now, what I loved about this is they actually give you the background as to Beetlejuice's history. Like
Yeah.
how he died, where he was from originally, and what he was doing. And I didn't realize Beetlejuice was that old
Yeah.
because he's more
He's
modern,
old.
modern dress, but like he's old, old type of thing.
Like 1400s or something, right?
Hmm. And so he was alive during the time of the plague, married her. And that was so hysterical. That bedroom scene was great. That was like she's carrying him in on her shoulders and then she
Yeah.
plops him down onto
That
the
was so
bed. I
funny.
was like, "Oh my God." So that was hysterical. There were a lot of great funny choice moments in it, but I like that
Hmm.
they go back and they explain everything. I loved it when he was explaining the entire entire life situation and the wife. He was doing it in Spanish.
It was so, that
I
was
was,
hilarious.
I was like, oh my God, what the hell is happening here? So he was just like they put a lot of thought into this. It was great. Um, so as always, here's a little bit more of the complication. Lydia needs Beetlejuice's help because her daughter has done something bad. Her daughter was seduced
By a ghost.
by a ghost boy who
Hmm.
promises her, "Hey, help you find your dad." And of course, she's so desperate to see her dad that she reads this incantation that trades places with them, but they got to go into the next world. So she's in a lot of trouble. Uh, Mom calls upon Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is willing to help, but with the age-old problem of you got to marry me. I'll help you, but you got to marry me, and she agrees to
During
it.
all of that, like Lydia finds out that the boy that seduces Jenny Ortega was like a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Killed his,
he
killed
murdered
his
his
parents.
parents.
Yep.
And then he was trying to get away and then he offed himself on accident.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, he slipped and he broke his own neck.
Yeah.
Ah, but so they're in the afterlife, and then they actually do find her real dad, who happens to be working there. But then poor mom ends up accidentally dying. Lydia's stepmom, who's doing this ceremony to like get over her grief of Charles, is trying to reenact an Egyptian ceremony with asps and ends up dying because the asps bit
They
her.
bite her.
Ah,
That's
but
super funny. And she's like, no, they're defanged.
they're defanged. I paid extra. For those of you who don't remember the original or who've not seen the original, um, Lydia's stepmom is played by the ever talented and amazing Catherine O'Hare. Uh, she is just absolutely brilliant. For those of you who are like, oh, wait a minute, why does that kind of sort of seem familiar? That's because she's Catherine O'Hare is also a very famous actress.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've ever seen Schitt's Creek, she is Mrs.
She's
Rose.
so funny.
She is
She's
so
so funny.
Oh my God, I love her in that. Not only is she in the original Beetlejuice, she's the mom in the Home Alone
Oh,
franchise.
yes.
So she's in there and she's just she's actually done some voice acting and she was in A Nightmare Before Christmas. She was one of the kids who kidnapped Santa Claus in A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh,
That is her, along with Paul Rubin, Mr. Pee Wee Herman there. So she's done a lot. Like there's just this woman's super talented. But anyway, kills herself with an asp. And of course, Beetlejuice has to help her out type of situation.
mm-hmm.
But the some of the references in there were just great, like the Soul Train.
I love, I was like, oh, that's funny. Soul
And
Train.
it's actually making fun of the old TV show Soul
Soul Train.
Train, but
Everybody's like dancing.
it is literally the Soul
Soul
Train.
Train line just to get
And I
into
was like, oh my God. Uh,
the.
it was so funny, so good, rather adventurous. I like it.
I
Definitely.
liked it a lot.
It was so good. Now I'm gonna jump on this for a minute. So they're gonna get married, right? Beetlejuice believes he's
Oh
tricked her into
gosh.
getting married. And there is this song that plays. So they do make reference to the original one that is ever so famous in Beetlejuice, Deo, or what's known as the Tally Me Banana song by Harry
Yeah.
Belafonte, right? And they make references and they do a few little tributes to it. However, they went a different way with the wedding music, and oh my God. I remember hating it growing up and remember, hey, that's still not any better as an adult. But
Right.
but the name of the song, it's a song that came out, I want to say in 1967 called MacArthur Park. And MacArthur Park was a song that was originally sung by a Irish American actor. You all know him, Richard Harrison, famous for being Dumbledore in the Harry Potter series, but just a brilliant actor, and he's done so many things. Like the man is just acting wise, sensational wise. He's great. Sang this song MacArthur Park. Song makes no damn sense whatsoever.
It
You
doesn't.
know, it's it's just a song that just makes absolutely no sense at all. Like it's singing about a cake that's, uh
Melting in
melting
the
in the
rain.
rain and
And he
it's
doesn't have the recipe.
no, he's very angry because there's
And he'll
there's
never
no
have that recipe again.
yes, I'll never have that recipe again. Uh it was insane. It
I
was
was like,
insane.
what? What
The
is this song?
Yeah, so the whole thing is um the song is just a visionary song. It was written by this guy. I want to make sure I get it right. Jimmy Webb. And he wrote this song, MacArthur Park, about a breakup that he was going through. But it was purely, there's no meaning to the song other than it was purely a visual song. It was a song about a breakup. And my God, talk about a hell of a breakup because, Um, but it's a 7 minute long song. I
So
mean,
long.
it is ridiculously long.
And you
And
did the whole song.
yeah, the one good thing, so the one good thing about that whole thing is the choreographed dancing was pretty good. And I will say this, the guy who plays the priest in Beetlejuice, when Beetlejuice possesses him and he's singing, his
Yeah,
mouth movements were so weird
they
that
were
I was
really weird.
like, it
It was a
was
little creepy.
hysterical to
I
see
was
how his
like,
mouth is like kind of doing all this weird stuff. And I was like, oh my God, it was brilliantly done. But just to kind of give you an idea of how weird this song is, A, look it up, but here's some of the lyrics. Ready for this, Roxy?
I'm
I'm not.
ready.
Spring was never waiting for us, dear.
You didn't say
It
you were singing
ran
it.
one step ahead as we followed in the dance. Anyway, MacArthur Park is melting in the dark.
I was like, please don't sing this whole song. I'm leaving I'm leaving.
She secretly wants me to serenade her
I
to this
don't.
all the time.
No.
Is okay. MacArthur Park is melting in the dark. All the sweet green icing flowing down. Someone left the cake out in the rain. I don't think I can take it because it took so long to bake
Oh
it,
no.
and I'll never have the recipe again.
Don't
I
ever sing this
recall the
again.
yellow cotton dress
Okay,
foaming like a
bye.
wave. So yes, this if you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking, yeah, this was inspired by a cocaine high.
Seriously.
It was the 60s in America. Then clearly people are on cocaine. I promise you, you watch Richard Harrison singing this, that man's on cocaine. And then the fact that it made #1 on the Billboard charts,
That's crazy.
just the majority of the population was on cocaine.
Had to be.
There's
Had to be.
And that shit was pure because if you were loving this song,
I mean, back in those days it was.
it had to have been pure because there's no way in hell you're like, why are we singing about the fucking icing melting? And who the hell leaves a cake out in the rain?
Right.
Why didn't you write the recipe down? How did you even make the cake if you didn't have the recipe?
Seriously, I have so many questions.
It's cocaine. That's what it is. It's cocaine. But anyway, getting on with it, they end up in this beautiful kind of everything comes together. There's this beautiful dream sequence at the end, which was just great.
Oh, it was.
And
I was
then it
like,
ends up you
oh.
realize it's a dream, and within a dream, it's like Lydia wakes up, and then Beetlejuice wakes up next to her and is like, wow, I had the weirdest dream, and then she wakes up again. It was so good.
It was
But
really good.
they did some choice stuff because all that was mostly shot in one location, except for the fact that they actually seem to have gone off location to Transylvania to actually film the
Dracula's
real
castle.
Dracula's castle. Yeah, it blew my mind. And the reason they do that is they make reference that uh the daughter and her dad, their dream was to retire and go travel and look at all the spooky places in the world. And Dracula's
Mhm.
castle was one of the ones that she mentioned. So it was kind of a really sweet dream sequence ending. I really loved it. It was Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton was fabulous.
He really was. Like
I'm,
nothing has changed. That
no,
man still can act.
I'm gonna tell you, every actor who was in this brought it. They were
Yeah,
all
they
on
did.
A game shit.
Absolutely.
There was no one in there I could say was trash. Like even the small parts, like Danny DeVito did a good job, and it was just a super small part, and he didn't have much to do. But like the guy who plays the priest in this, his part wasn't great. Like you see him like maybe 4 times throughout the movie, but he
Hmm.
brought it. He
Oh
was
yeah, he did.
really good,
Even the
especially in the
trick-or-treaters brought it.
yeah, huh? The
I said
what?
even the trick-or-treaters brought
The
it.
tree, yeah, I'm serious. Like the people who are playing the zombies with the shrunken heads,
Oh
they,
yeah.
they were hysterical. You're gonna fall in love with Bob. Check Bob out. He's hysterical. I love him. He was my
I love
favorite.
Bob.
But I'm just gonna, for me personally, my last, couple of cents here, Monica Bellucci. Just, I totally love you. I just so love. If you ever hear this
She looks
show,
so good,
she was
and
so
what did I
gorgeous
say?
in
I
that.
said she gives me Sally vibes
Yeah,
from Nightmare Before
with the
Christmas.
staples and everything, when she's putting
Yeah.
herself back together, it is very much a Nightmare Before Christmas kind of inspired design based on
Mm-hmm.
Sally. Absolutely magnificent. Monica Bellucci, again, I don't know how she gets sexier even when she looks fucking dead. It's like, wow.
She looked really, really, really good.
Don't know if you know who my favorite is here, Roxy.
Is it Bob?
It's Bob. No, it's Bob. Totally Bob.
Holy Bob.
Uh, I think there's others people in there like well, I don't know, but Monica Bellucci was definitely in it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
she
forgot the other people, but
yeah,
Monica
like
Bellucci was
I don't know.
good.
I heard Michael Keaton was in it. I'm not quite sure if he was or wasn't, but
I wasn't paying attention. I didn't know if I saw
like
him.
Monica Bellucci. But it was a great, great movie. Definitely check it out. And if you maybe want to join in and kind of spill your beans about what you thought about Beetlejuice, let us know at our social medias, which is going to be the VCR Show at gmail.com, Insta and Twitter at the VCR Show, YouTube, the VCR Show, and our never updated website, thevcrshow.com. And you can serve Roxy in the afterlife as her minion
Yes, you can.
at her social medias, which are.
Absolutely. On Facebook at Roxy Perez Curvy Model, on Instagram at Poprox428, and on TikTok at Thepoproxx. And Poprox is spelled Poproxx.
And if you want to know what we did before the movie, we went and we had Chinese before the
It was
movie.
not,
Was it Chinese?
no,
Japanese?
I think Japanese.
Vietnamese?
No, I think it's Japanese.
Okay, it's one of the E's. That's what we had.
Yes. And the Brussels sprouts were amazing.
Yes. Not so much the ramen she had, though.
I did not like it.
She did not like you.
Which is odd because I always love their ramen, but I tried something different and I won't be doing it again.
Yes, we've all learned our lesson. I
Yes.
had to
Yes, we
order
have.
2 rolls that night.
Yeah.
Until next time, I'm Vada,
And I'm Roxy.
and you're listening to VCR.
Bye.
Bye. I love you, Monica Bellucci. You have been listening to VCR, creative content by Richard Christopher Vara and Roxy Perez. Logo by Richard Christopher Vara with assistance from Annie Ramirez. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thevcrshow@gmail.com or our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at the VCR Show. And you can also check out our content at thevcrshow.com. The show song is Addict by Nefex, instrumental, and you can find them on YouTube Music Library.